Brought to you by Penguin.
New Methods for Women, a Manifesto, written and read by me, Sharmadean Reid. Introduction. The book you're about to listen to is the result of over 10 years of reflections and experimentations in order to deal with my chronic low-level stress and anxiety. I started this work in my head at around 25 years old. I started writing things down at 28, and I finally closed this arc of my life at 38, with most of the old feelings gone, but new ones arising, because in reality, the work is never done. For me, it was not one person, or one big incident, or one big moment that made me determined to make a change within. It was lots and lots of little choices that slowly broke my spirit. Since I was 12, I've always held a vision of my future. But for some reason, my choices in early adulthood started to veer away from that plan. The choices did not seem like a big deal at the time. I made them casually, without consideration. I would go forth excitedly but randomly, following along with what was expected of me instead of where my heart lay. The problem was that each little choice was like a small incision. And Nick, you wouldn't even really notice. None of my life choices seemed particularly wrong. In fact, they looked enviable. So I didn't bleed out all at once. It was more like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Throughout this period of my life, I felt like the very essence of who I was dying. My body tried to tell me that something wasn't working, and in my late 20s, I started to get a crushing pain in my chest. I ignored it for months, until one morning, while doing my usual mental checklist of the endless tasks I had that day, an episode of chest pain came over me that was so terrifying I lay on the floor and called an ambulance. After 8 hours of tests, which all revealed nothing, the doctor sat me down in a small room and asked, "Are you stressed?" I answered without hesitation, "Of course I'm not stressed, I'm fine." She looked at me pityingly and said, "Well, your body is." I believe that the information that one can turn into action is a delicate combination of messenger, message, and moment. Prior to that moment, there had been many messengers telling me that I should slow down, relax, be less busy. But either the message was indecipherable, or the messenger didn't seem believable, or more commonly, I was not ready to hear it. After all, I'd been working 12-hour days since I was 11 years old. I had a paying job from the age of 14, I had a high productivity output, and whatever I was doing was always well received. In addition, I felt like I did not have the privilege to rest. If I didn't work, I didn't earn, and there was nobody else to support me. But there was something about that particular combination of tests, doctor, and pain, along with being a new mother, that made me take notice this time. So I decided to try something new. Or as essayist Anais Nin wrote, the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Literally painful. So I looked for the logic. The mental discomfort I had always felt had now developed into an anxiety. The anxiety formed a physical manifestation in my chest as a panic attack. My mind was hiding the stress of my body. With this new information, I made a very small but life-changing decision. If this pain was a result of stress, it would seem rational that I would just meditate and calm myself down. It was as simple as that. I didn't have another panic attack for a decade, as I now had the ability to catch it at the earliest signal. I tried a new method, and with focus, and it worked. But even though I'd figured out how to turn off the warning light, the real work was under the hood. In 2013, I decided to move to my hometown in the middle of England and began the slow process of rebuilding myself after having my first debilitating episode. But I carried on my work as normal. During this time, I even launched a new beauty product line and designed a clothing range. When necessary, I showed up and looked good. No one was ever really to know. Home was so healing, and it was there that I experimented with more methods. Nature, whole foods, yoga. I also learnt negotiation, and with all the free time I had, planned how to begin a startup and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?